What are some of the injuries you've taken? Anything?
So the worst of it, you
Yeah.
alluded to when I made headlines for growing a second head. That was
Yeah.
BYB 22. It was the 2023 Fight of the Year award winner.
We'll have to link a clip or a photo of what you looked like after that fight. That was
I had an enormous swelling on the side of my head, and it actually, like I said, it went viral. It made newspapers in Eastern Europe, Brazil. I ended up getting a blue check mark on Instagram because of that.
yeah.
Yeah. In that fight, I also sustained a fractured left mandible, which is a broken jaw. So that would probably be the worst injuries I've ever obtained in a fight. I've had fights where my eye swells shut. This eye cuts virtually every fight at this point because there's so much scar tissue in it. So that would be the worst of it, but a lot of traumatic brain injuries as well.
Yeah.
Right. That comes with contact to the head. And that's a big concern of mine at this point in my life. A lot of times we hear about CTE associated with fighters and a lot of the negative consequences of that. I'm certainly trying to prevent, any cognitive neurological injuries. And I want to get out of the sport with all my faculties. I don't want to be a cautionary tale or a sad story. I want to be a good example of how to get in and out of the fight game, like I said, with all your mental faculties, and to be a good representative of my sport and a mentor for younger fighters. So I've been concerned with traumatic brain injuries for a number of years. I actually started microdosing in 2018, 2019, because I had read that psilocybin had really beneficial effects on people who have had traumatic brain injuries, which is where I linked up with my now coach and good friend, Ian McCall. I started using psilocybin with my training. I got really positive results with that. And so I've been a big advocate for psilocybin as well and the benefits. And these days, Ian and I currently are board members on a nonprofit scientific research group called the Athlete's Journey Home. And we're trying to find evidence that ayahuasca can help reverse the effects of traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, and other side effects associated with TBIs. So we're hoping to get our first research project underway in the first quarter of 2025. And the plan is for us to take 10 athletes, primarily combat sports athletes, but not limited to. We have some world-class surfers, NASCAR drivers, and other athletes as well, which have all signed on to be a part of this research project, myself being one of them.
I was just going to ask you that, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to take 10 athletes into the jungle of Peru. We're going to do brain scans, gut biome, and a number of other tests to help quantify the health of the athletes. We're going to go to the jungle. We're going to do 5 ayahuasca ceremonies over a 10-day period, and then we will return and do all the testing again. And we're looking for evidence that helps to prove that this therapy will help reverse a lot of the effects of TBIs.
Yeah. Let me ask you, have you noticed any effects yourself after taking a lot of the punishment that you've taken, whether to your mental health, to your memory? Are there any long-term effects for yourself that you've noticed?
Yeah, I have noticed changes. My short-term memory is certainly not what it used to be. My long-term memory is great. I'm an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to combat sports, training, nutrition, but yeah, short-term memory has definitely been impacted. I think it's probably had a negative effect on my speech and my overall processing ability. And that's one reason I really started getting into psychedelics, like I alluded to earlier. I had heard that it's good for people who've had a lot of traumatic brain injuries. And so as I'm getting towards the end of my combat sports career, right, it's not something you can do forever. And Father Time catches up with everybody. And I know that, I don't have a lot of fights left in me. And like I said, I want to get out of the game with my health. So starting to focus on what the next chapter will be and hoping to help athletes like myself who have absorbed a lot of punishment as a result of their careers and helping them to work through that so that they can be healthy, happy, successful, contributing members of society after their career is over. Because one thing I think a lot of people don't realize is the struggles that fighters go through as they transition from being a combat sports athlete to whatever it is they do thereafter.
Yeah.